So the question is, can using content get your practice new patients? Well, the short answer is yes, it can. And the second answer is it probably not, depending on what the content is. And that's the real question, is what content are you creating to get new patients? So some content is meant to be informational. Some content is meant to be marketing. Some content is advertising, because there's a difference between marketing and advertising. And some content is just sort of kind of putting it out there, just giving people shared knowledge, if you will. Your content is your trifold brochure that people can take when they're in your office. How do you look at that piece of content? That's something they take away with them. Is that a piece of marketing material? Does that give them a call to action? Does that just tell them what you do? Does that give them something special you do? Do you specifically deal with pediatrics? Is working with, I don't know, pregnant women one of your strong suits in your practice? Is that what your thing is about? Every piece of content has a purpose. I think you would agree with that. And generic content is kind of throwing spaghetti to the wall. You can't be all things to all people. People have specific problems. We've talked about in previous videos that if someone has an injury due to golf, if you talk about a golf injury that you can help with, that's different than a person that has the same injury, but they got it from playing tennis, because that's what's relevant to them. So the relevant content is what actually brings people into your practice using content. There are times where you need to be a generalist. You're a chiropractor. You do this, you do that. You're sports medicine. You might be certain things, but you can have a broad picture. And then there's other times where you really need to narrow it down and put it in a bucket, so to speak, for people to really resonate with it, for it really to get them. But can content help your practice? It can. Absolutely, it can. Every TV commercial is a piece of content. I mean, and every TV commercial, in theory, is selling or solving a problem for someone, because content helps people understand the problems you solve for them, because usually people are looking to solve a problem. People go to the store to go buy, they're just browsing. Sometimes they're just wandering up and down the aisle seeing what to buy or what looks fancy, and it's an activity for them. For some it's a hobby, and for some they don't want to do it. Other people just go directly into the store, get exactly what they need, and they leave. They're not browsing at all. I fall in that category. I'm not a shopper. But if you go into the content mindset of how do I help people, what can I do for them, then you will see value in the clients coming in, or appointments being made, or questions being asked even of, well, I have this, you said this, can this help this? And your job then is to answer them. So that's the lead generation piece of it. Everyone today is talking about the funnel, the big funnel, start at the top and you bring people down. And that all works, and it's always been that way. The funnel has always been a bigger funnel, right? I mean, if you take something as simple as a McDonald's commercial, a 15-second McDonald's commercial, kids in the backseat of the car screaming, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Mom's driving. Mom sees the Golden Arches in the distance. Oh, Mom pulls in, she goes to the drive-thru, doesn't have to get out of the car, orders, cut to kid eating, his chicken McNuggets and his fries and drinking out of his little sippy cup, and he's smiling and he's happy. Mom's happy because the kid's not screaming anymore. That, in 15 seconds, is a whole story. It solves the problem. It shows that McDonald's can help you when your screaming child is driving you crazy and you are driving, right? That's the most basic form. But that, if you think about all your content in something as simplistic as that, content will help you get more patients. Some content's not going to, and some content is not meant to. Some Coke commercials are generic Coke commercials, meaning Coke is wonderful, we love Coke. And then there's other Coke commercials where it's like, oh, the hot guy on the beach drinks Coke, so I should drink Coke so I can be the hot guy on the beach so the pretty girl likes me. I mean, those are all the little storylines they tell, as contrived as it is. But those are specific things, Specificity matters in your marketing, And the broad strokes matter. So know which to use where and how you're going to use it, and know that not everything you create is always going to work either. There's split testing to see if what content's going to work and what isn't. I strongly recommend people using spreadsheets and seeing what kind of engagement they get with this blog post, with this video, with this whatever it is you're putting out there. See what your engagement is. See what the results were. Engagement's one thing, but did the phone ring? Did the appointments happen? Did somebody actually come in the door because of the content that was put out there? And if that worked, what's the next step for creating that very similar content, but building on it and making that piece of content a little bit better? So better content brings in patients. Content brings in patients. And sometimes content is just informational and meant to be out there and not necessarily bring in content, but it does keep you top of mind, which in the long term does bring in patients. So content's a valuable tool in your everyday marketing arsenal, if you will.